So I'm going to start my project today, my drawing for the project, where I'm going to try to draw a phase change. So as I'm brainstorming, I'm going to look back at my notes. So I'm looking back at 10 and 11 and 12. And I'm just looking at how I draw them and the names, some of the words I would use to describe them. They're going to help me. So now I got to pick my example. Now my partner did melting butter. So their diagram looks something like this. So I'm going to go the opposite direction. I'm going to imagine you can see I did some erasing because I wasn't sure. I did do a little brainstorming on that and with my partner. So I'm just going to start with a container. Keep it super simple, right? Of just something I can draw, because I have to figure out something I can draw. This is just a container, and I'm going to just basically imagine that I'm doing a recipe where I need liquid butter. So this is butter as a liquid. And then I'm just imagining I leave it, and let's put it on a countertop here, sort of like that. And, I could be a little creative here. I could try to do a little foreshortening or something. But that point is, here I have this container. It got butter, and this is my liquid. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to imagine I just leave this thing over time, and this container of butter, same container, just a little bit later, now gets all solid, right? It's sort of, maybe I can give it a little bit of a look like that. And so this is also butter, but it's a liquid. And notice I'm doing this in pencil just because I want to give myself a chance to erase before I go over it in pen. Now again, it's not great, but it's okay, right? It gets the idea across. I've got this phase change going on here like this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my magic glasses, and I'm going to imagine that I'm looking at a little piece of this. Now you can either have a circle or a square. I'm going to keep it a circle just for consistency. I'm zooming in on a circle, but you could have a little square and zoom in on a square. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm sort of imagining I'm zooming in. This is the goal of this project, is that you are able to imagine with magic glasses what's happening with particles here. So now what I'm going to do is imagine, okay, particles of a liquid. I have to remember how to draw those. I'm going to go back and look at my notes. Okay, they look something like this. So I'm going to draw. Now, I don't have to draw a million particles. I want to keep my drawing kind of simple. So I'm going to pick big particles here just to make my drawing super simple. I'm just going to draw a bunch of big particles. They're going to be all kind of randomly. Some are closer, some are farther apart. They're not organized in any way. And then I'm going to draw my little curvy arrows going every which way. Like that. Each particle has one. Now, this isn't so much a container. This is just like a view in there. So this is like a little window into that. Okay. Now we have this process, which we're going to call the process taking a liquid into a solid form. So I'm going to label this liquid again, just so I'm remembering. Now I'm going to pick a solid. So I'm going to keep the particle size the same, but now I've taken energy away, so the particles are moving less, and as a result, they're vibrating in place and sort of taking an orderly structure like so. And they're just clumped together like this, but they're in a more organized pattern here, okay? And this, you'll remember, is the vibrating particles of a solid, so I'm going to put a little quotation mark in there like that. I'm going to label every particle if I can. And you can see they're sort of more packed together than these. I tried my best to keep the particle size the same. I'm not the best artist, but that's how I could make it look. Giving this a little window, magic window. Now I'm going to obviously call this a solid. And then the phase change here is freezing. And now I've basically got my drawing. If I wanted to, I could go and I could add a little color to this. If I wanted to you know, make this look a little more butter-like, right? So you can add some features like that. But the basic idea is pretty straightforward. And we can go ahead and make each particle yellow. And you get the idea here, right? How we are sort of trying to model what's happening when you have liquids freezing into solids. Now my job will be to sort of describe this in words and motion with my gesturing when I get on my Flipgrid. I'm now going to take a picture of this and I'm going to put it on my slide, this little drawing, and then I'm going to use the other side to describe what's happening.